Welcome back to Thoughts of the Roundtable for a part 2 that we didn't know we needed until we realized we needed it. So
yeah, we do.
So vacation special part 2, and this time we're focusing all about Paul.
Well, I want to hear a little bit about you too, but I think the first thing I need to talk about is my famed first Airbnb experience.
Yes, please. The moment.
Now, I've heard a lot about bad things about Airbnbs, but you know, let me recap. So we were going to. Me and the wife decided to do this kind of like national park trip.
Okay.
And we started in Salt Lake City.
Okay.
And we were going to drive to San Francisco and go to Zion and Yosemite along the way, and then a little stop in Vegas. And so we do that. And so our first we were only going to be in Salt Lake City for 2 nights. We're like, well, let's just get an Airbnb. You know, neither of us have done it before, so we do it. And let me tell you, the first... So I should have known... Well, I didn't know this was going to happen, but I guess looking back, I should have. So I booked the first Airbnb. You have to do with your credit card, you know? Salt Lake City, no problem. So then I book another Airbnb in San Francisco. You just rip ass.
No, that was the truck outside, I swear.
I was like, damn. I thought you just ripped it in the middle of...
I've been known to bomb your bathroom a few times. I've been guilty, but... No, I'm listening. My eyes are on you. So, I like 5 minutes later, we already knew the Airbnbs we wanted. So back to back, I just was booking them. Yeah.
And so I go to book the one, we get one in San Francisco, and it wouldn't go through. Wouldn't go through. So I keep trying. Yeah. Like something's wrong. So I look at my credit card, and all of a sudden I have like thousands of dollars charged because they charged it.
No! Are you kidding?
And so I was like, what the hell is going on? So I called Airbnb right away. And I was like, something happened with their site where like charged me like a bunch of times. And they're like, well, on our end, it looks like canceled payments. She goes, the first one went through, and the lady was real nice at customer service and Airbnb. She's like, the first one went through, but the other one looked just like canceled payments. And like, we don't know what's going on. So like on our end, it's not working. So like, call your bank. Yeah. So I called my bank. And apparently buying one Airbnb and then another one in another state, like 10 minutes later, triggered my card to just immediately turn off. Because it thought it was fraud. So it kept charging that over and over. So I should have known from the beginning this is going to be like this. So I got that all figured out. I'd call the bank and say, hey, book the one in San Francisco. Yeah. So we get to the...
Wait, real quick. I've done like I think 10 or 11 trips this year. And I've gotten no calls from my credit card company. Like I didn't tell them I went to Vegas, didn't tell them I was in, a few states over. I'm surprised. I really thought they were going to call me and be like, hey girl, like spending a lot of cash in Vegas. Is that you? But no calls. Anyway, back to you.
So, first off, we get to the airport. First of all, I hate flying. Like
I really do too, because
listen.
You go first and I'll say
okay. I actually enjoy physically flying. It's
really?
It's fun to fly in planes. I really don't mind.
Well,
that part, I don't like being cramped.
I was going to say.
Like that.
The flying industry, and no offense to anyone out there who is part of that, unless you're a corporate guy, and yes, this is directed at you, it's designed to squeeze as much money as they can. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that includes squeezing us like sardines.
Even these budget airlines, if you fly naked, you can get away with no fees.
Well, and the worst part was on my way back. Like, so it was...
Did you have a connection coming from?
I did Spirit. No, you know what? When you do a cheap airline, you cannot do connections, dude. You'll miss them. That's the whole thing. So I don't mind. Like, a flight back was delayed by 2 or 3 hours. That was okay.
Damn.
Like, whatever.
For what reason?
I don't know. The plane wanted a coffee break. I really don't know, but... here's what I'm frustrated with. I have 2 carry-ons, because you're allowed 2 carry-ons. The one lady goes, oh, no, you can't bring that second one on here. I'm like, why? Like, what? And she's like, no, just one. So I had to shove everything into one. And then I get on there, Paul, I kid you not, I get on the plane, there's so much open room. Like, everyone's
What did you do with the other bag?
I just had to absolve it into my other bag. So, like,
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was huge. It was about to freaking burst. I was like, this is a safety hazard.
So what, you had like a backpack and then an overhead?
Like a backpack and a small duffel. And I had to put everything in my small duffel into my backpack, which was just bursting at the seams to appease this lady.
I hate when they act like there's...
Paul, they act so much room.
When they act like there's no... Immediately you get on the plane, they're like, there's no overhead compartment. It's like, look at all this! Look at
What
them.
is with that?
Like,
I'm
I
like-
don't understand why they do that.
If I had gotten there to find out, like, here's the thing too, like, my duffel bag was so small. If they had been like, listen, dude, you can't put that up there, I would have had it in my lap. It was that.
You could fit.
It was that. It was
you could
that
fit
small.
fucking bodies up in the top. There's
It
so
was
much
like
room.
the Barbie little duffel bag. It was small, and like she's like, "Oh my!"
and-
She thought I was bringing a bomb onto that plane, Paul. She was like, "Oh my lord, how could you?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm allowed to."
couple funny things
Yes,
about that. First,
shoot.
with the overhead thing.
Yes.
So this is a couple months later. Just last week, I was in Arizona, flying to Arizona, and I'll pop back in a minute. But I love talking about airline stories. This is great.
This is
this
great.
lady, for some reason, had this art that was like
Art?
it was like a post,
Like a canvas?
It looked like a frame. It was something framed.
Oh no! Don't bring
And
that
so
up.
sit in your chair like you're, it's just straight like you're.
Okay, yeah.
So that was the poor person in the middle. This lady gets up, like everyone is ready to go. The plane's about, and suddenly this lady has art she's got to put up in the freaking top. So she opens it. This old lady is like this.
Oh no!
And the person's just like, all right. And then she's like, can't get
can't
this
fit the
art
camera?
because the stupid thing. It's curved. I mean, it's
Yeah,
curved.
yeah.
And it's flat. And she won't and then she's like closing.
Oh my god! I didn't tell you someone got kicked off our plane.
Really?
Oh my
For
god!
what?
How did I not mention this in the previous episode? I'm so stupid. So you know how I just told you. First of all, I can't believe she tried to fit the canvas in there. She's just stupid.
And the best part is, after all that, she just gave up and held it in her lap.
She's like, this original Van Gogh won't fit up here. She's like, not my Jackson Pollock. Like, just casually laying around.
Monet, Mono.
Where would I put this original Georgia O'Keeffe? I cannot believe I forgot to tell you this. So, you know how I told you plane was 3 hours delayed?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're unfortunately already at the airport. So we're just going to have to stay here at the airport. Thankfully, I could work on my phone. I was, handling business things, whatever. I go up to ask the lady, because here's the thing. It said, well, estimated 1:30 arrival. I'm like, estimated?
1 a.m. or
No,
PM?
no, PM.
Okay.
It's like, estimated. Like, that's just weird. Like, that's kind of like when you, try and
Well, I
commit.
get that because they can't nail it down.
Well, it's like when you a friend's like, do you want to do this? And you're like, maybe. It's kind of like that equivalent. And,
Wait,
you're
why
like,
did they give you an estimated arrival?
of the plane to when we would
Oh,
board.
to Vegas.
Yeah. No, to Cleveland. This is back to
okay.
Cleveland.
Well, that's weird.
So, I get up there, and
can
in front
I
of
take
me,
a guess what it was? Someone got hammered.
I have no clue. I really don't know why the plane was late.
No, kickoff.
Oh, no.
removal.
I don't think so. You'll be able to piece this together. So I go up to the person who's checking the tickets. I don't know if they're a flight steward or just like
The gate agents?
We'll use that. The gate agent. We'll call her Melinda. And Melinda is just doing her job. Melinda has been hired by Spirit to address things and help people board the plane. So Melinda doesn't care, right? So this lady just storms up and goes, I've been sitting here with my child and my dog for hours. Where is the plane? Where is the plane?
Wait, is the plane not at
Plane's
the gate
not
yet?
there. Plane's not
okay,
there.
so they're waiting on the delivery of the plane.
We're waiting on the plane.
Okay.
And Lena goes,
that makes sense.
She's like, well, the plane's in the sky. Where is the plane? It was like a Liam Neeson moment. Like, where is the plane? And I'm like, the plane's not on vacation. Like, it's.
I mean, at least it's on the way.
Yeah, it's on the way. So I have to say, this Melinda, the flight agent gate, she had such good composure. Like, this was clearly this was not her first rodeo. Because
I doubt it.
She was just like, I'm sorry, ma'am. Like, we can give you a $50 gift card. And the lady's like, $50 gift card is not worth it. And meanwhile, I looked up. She's holding on to her dog. It's one of those dogs where like let me have my dog on my plane.
Yip. One of those little tiny ones.
Honestly, the dog looked like it was half dead. Like, it was just kind of. But here's what made it look that way.
Living
it
with
only
that lady, wouldn't you?
Well, it only had 3 legs.
Oh.
So I know, and it's not a thing that I would normally mention per se, but you'll see why. So, ladies, this is ridiculous. Like, if the plane's not here at 1:30, I'm gonna have to call the CEO of Spirit, and Melinda's like, okay. Have fun.
You do you.
And
babe.
I hate when people yell at people who She
I
has
would never
no,
be a gate agent.
She has no.
Granted, I have run into some asshole gate agents, but they probably deal with so much.
I am a
bullshit.
firm believer of you never yell at someone whose fault it's definitely not is. Don't yell in general, but it's not like Melinda the agent is like, oh, I'm sneaking the plane out of here.
The only time I ever got legitimately mad at a gate agent was when they wouldn't tell me which gate my connecting flight was at. Because it wasn't on the leaderboard.
Oh,
it was,
Lord.
And she goes, I don't know. I'm like, well, it's not up there. She goes, I don't know.
She's like,
well,
I don't.
It was
I don't know,
can you
Chief.
help me here?
Is
you
that your job?
got a computer, anyways.
So this lady with her kid and her dog, she just turns and does that mumbly angry. She's dragging this 3-legged dog.
Oh, it's not in a kennel? It's just
no, she's just this dog can't keep up with her. So the dog's being dragged behind her. So finally I asked the agent, and that thing when someone's been a dick to the retail or just and so you have to be extra sweet. So I'm like, hi, just want to check in. Is 1:30 kind of the time we're looking at? Thanks so much. Oh my God, have a great day. Love your scarf. It just looks so good on you. You have to do that because they were especially a dick, so you kind of have to especially be nice. So finally, 1:30 rolls around. We get boarded. This is after my one bag.
Oh wait, this is on your way to Vegas.
No, this is way back to Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't really concerned that we were running late. So I get sat next to this lady, and she's from Cleveland, I think. And
wait, you get next to this lady on the plane?
She's to my right. I'm on the aisle, and she's on the aisle on the other side.
Okay.
And
what luck?
Whoever she is, not the same lady. This is a different lady.
Okay.
So we'll call her. She kind of had an Eastern European vibe. We'll call her Gretzel.
Okay.
So Gretzel was just here for gossip, and I loved it. She's like, "Did you see that lady earlier?" I was like, "I was right behind her." And she dragged her dog across the terminal. So
that thing's only go at 75% speed.
And there was some other gossip because there was an open row, but this Spirit employee was sitting in the open row by himself, and she's like, I mean, I get that they protect their own, but I would have loved to stretch my legs. And don't worry, Gretzel stretched her legs. She and her, we were both the people who put their legs out in the aisle a little bit.
Best.
Oh, I know. So here's the part: we're getting ready to take off, and the captain comes up and goes, we're gonna have to go back to the gate. We have to take someone off the plane. And I'm and at this point, I had my headphones in. I was watching Black Mirror, and I'm just what's happening now? And Gretzel fills me in. Girl had the dish. She goes, well, I think it's the lady. There was a lady who was screaming. And I'm screaming? What do you mean? She's like, yeah, there was a lady up front screaming. So we get back to the gate. And I see, I love when the stewards have to act tough and all of a sudden they're chest heavy and
it's okay, Laura.
Yeah, Linda, sweetie, or when they're would you like some peanuts? And then they're listen.
Have you noticed, by the way, they always have that one stupid jacked flight attendant, the dude
they really do.
who's got the really tight shirt on. If
I ever do,
want some coffee?
If I ever do a TV show about stewardesses, here's the 4 types of stewardesses. Obviously, the gay steward who's can I plump your pillow? Oh my gosh! And then you have Linda who doesn't want to be there. And Linda's would you like water? And you got buff dude because you got hey, I'm Danny, a part-time bodybuilder. Here's my Instagram handle. Follow me. And then you got
the ancient ass one.
I was gonna say
the one that
there's the angel there's
you hit turbulence and she just goes to dust. And just,
would you like a hot towel? And you're what?
You know what one I'm talking about? There's always that one that's 90 years old.
Yeah. So up ahead, this flight attendant, you can just hear she does that thing where she's ma'am, I'm gonna need you to get off the plane. And you're and the whole plane's silent. The whole plane's just leaning forward what'd you say? And then you can kind of hear they're getting into it. Finally, I can't see anything at this point, but finally I hear the flight attendant go, if you don't get off this plane, ma'am, I will remove you from this plane.
What the hell? Do you know how hard it is to get kicked off of a plane, actually?
But
what did she do? Do you ever find out?
Well, Gretzel came through, I'll tell you that. So, lady stands up. It's the same lady who yelled at Melinda, the agent, who I was behind.
With the 3-legged dog?
And she walked her kid, and the 3-legged dog, slid behind her as she left the plane. And Gretzel, next to me, does a whole round of applause, saying the plane just
The whole plane crashed?
Yes!
Are you serious?
Because at this point, Paul, it's 2:30. It's we were supposed to be home already. You know what I mean? So, Gretzel turns to the you remember how I told you there was the Spirit airline employee was behind us with the open row of seats, and Gretzel's I want to sit in the open row. So Gretzel turns to the guy and she goes, do you know what happened? He goes, oh, I know what happened. And meanwhile, me, I'm pause the headphones, turn off the phone, I want to
throw the AirPods down the aisle.
He goes, apparently her kid just kept kicking seats in front of him, and the dog was out of control, and she wasn't even trying to control the situation. And so some woman was listen, you need to control the situation. And she goes, she threatened the lady. Apparently she threatened the lady who complained. And
are you serious?
Yeah, and apparently the threat was so it's one of those things where they're well, you can't threaten someone's life, so we're gonna turn around and kick you off the plane. But she's been waiting there all day. I feel bad for her, but dude, now you have to wait even longer because you got kicked off the plane.
I never seen anybody kicked off the plane. and I promise I'm going to get to this Airbnb thing. But
oh my God, we really derailed.
I promise
I'm
I could.
sorry.
But
I hope it was worth it. I hope the story was worth it.
It is.
Okay, good.
I do have to tell you this, though.
I can't believe I forgot.
I've never seen anybody get kicked off the plane, but I've had 2 instances where I thought it might happen. One was when they were middle of the air. I was flying from San Diego to Cleveland, and we were mid-flight, and this guy in the emergency row was like laying on the guy next to him. He's like in the window seat. He's like, and he kept the guy in the window seat. I thought they were like maybe a couple or something, but also
very 2019 of you.
But the guy like pushed him off, and it was an older guy. And so I eventually started to realize that they had no idea who each other were. Like did not know. And so the stewardess noticed this. And the guy had fallen asleep against the window, and he had his feet. This wasn't a full flight, rare.
Yeah.
So the seat in front of him was empty, so he had his feet on the seat.
Oh, God.
And so the stewardess comes by and says, "Hey, could you put your feet down?" No response. "Sir, could you put your feet down?" No response. This dude is passed out.
Yeah.
He was so hammered, he was unconscious. And so eventually they shake him awake, and they're like, "Sir, I need to see your ticket." And so he just takes the in-flight magazine and just starts ripping pages out and like handing it to her.
Whoa!
And so then he just like while talking to her, he just passes out again against the window. And so the guy in the middle seat's like, "Yeah, I had no idea who the hell this guy was." And so then another stewardess comes over, is like, "Sir," like shaking on, and this time they could not arrive. Like he was gone. He was gone. And I was like. And so this guy was so unconscious from, mind you, the flight left at 8:30 a.m.
Oh my God. On what day?
On like a Tuesday.
Oh my God.
And so they literally were putting their hands on his chest in front of his nose to see if he was breathing. He was so out.
Can you imagine if someone died on a plane?
I honestly thought that when they started, they legitimately started checking his pulse. I was like, I just saw a guy die in front of me. And like this guy had to have been like 30. And so they eventually got him and just dragged him to the front of the plane and sat him in an empty seat so they could keep an eye on him. The other one was this little poor old guy. We were flying back from San Francisco.
Yeah.
And we were on the plane. There was like a lunchbox looking thing on the seat that I was like supposed to be in. So I like moved it over to the aisle seat. And I didn't think because people were like still putting their stuff all over the plane. Someone just forgot their bag here, they're putting it whatever. I didn't think anything of it. It was just looking like a lunchbox. And so I sit down in the middle seat, and my wife is to the right of me, and this little old guy was like, he comes up and goes, "Is this your bag?" He's like, "No." And he goes, "Oh, okay." So he takes the bag and puts it in the overhead and sits down.
Okay, reasonable.
And it just starts ringing. The bag just starts ringing like a phone.
No.
And we're like,
no, I don't want
and
that.
so it starts ringing. And so the stewardess comes over, and she goes, "Was there a lunch bag here?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, I put it in the overhead thing." She's like, "Oh, I was calling it because I couldn't find it."
Oh my God.
And it's just a normal interaction because the plane hadn't even, and people were literally still getting on.
Yeah.
And so it was just a lady's lunchbox that she had in the plane.
Yeah.
But the problem starts when the guy, not meaning anything, didn't care. He was fine. He was trying to joke around. He goes, "Oh, I thought it was a bomb."
No.
And the look on this lady's face was just like, "God damn it, you said the one word you cannot say."
So what they do to him?
Well, you could see the look on her face because the guy was just clearly just trying to be funny. And he could see her I could see the gears going here like, "Oh God, do I got to get this guy off the plane?"
Oh my God.
And she goes, "No, sir, it wasn't a suspicious package." And she says it like that. Like, please don't say, I'm not going to do anything, but please, like,
oh my God.
Don't say it. He goes, I just thought it was a bomb. And she's like, "No, sir, it is not a suspicious package." And he's like, "Okay." And then she walks away. Like, you could tell she goes, "I really don't want to kick this dude off."
All the paperwork, the hassle.
Yeah, and he was clearly just,
So the name of my next expose about myself will be Suspicious Package.
So anyways, that was the biggest detour ever. So
long story short,
we're
Paul
flying
flying
to Salt Lake City.
Yes, flying to Salt Lake City. You have the 2 Airbnbs. You put them both on the credit card.
The reason we got on this because the flights there were fun.
Yeah.
So the first one was delayed for whatever freaking reason. I don't know. Every flight that ever leaves Cleveland is freaking delayed.
You know what it is? I think it comes down to like they don't have as many planes as they advertise. They're like, uh-oh.
I was flying United, and United is the worst.
Oh, dude,
so anyways,
I flew Spirit, which is just as bad. They're all bad.
We get to we had a connection in Denver. Because God forbid I ever go anywhere without having a freaking connection in Denver.
Yeah.
I've been to Denver 13,000 times.
Just
I
for the
visited
airport.
once. And so we get there and...
Does it count if you visited someplace if you only were in the airport?
No.
I don't think so either. I just want to put that on the same page. Okay.
If you have like a 10-hour layover...
And you get out and see
leave,
the... Yeah.
that's okay. But anyways, so we get there and our plane... It's a beautiful day. And we all load on the plane to go to Salt Lake City. I just want to be there because I hate being cramped and everything.
Yeah.
Connections, whatever. And I actually...
Suspicious devices.
I thought we were going to miss this one because the first one was delayed.
Oh, God.
And so we get there and we thankfully get on the plane. Also, we're sitting on the tar. Everyone's loaded. We're sitting there. Sitting there.
God. That's the worst. I'd rather sit in the terminal.
To the long time, we were like, okay, something happened.
And
So sure enough, they come over. She goes, if you noticed, we've been sitting at the gate for our extended time. That's because the pilot is currently missing. And everyone's like, what do you mean the pilot is missing? And she goes, we cannot find the pilot that was supposed to be on this flight. We can't find him.
So what do? They
and
just
so
call
they're like, we're going to
emergency
try to
sub?
find... What I found out later is that airports, good airlines...
Okay.
will have backup pilots literally in the terminal.
That's smart.
And so, like, if something happens or someone's sick, they can say, hey, you got to go fly this.
Can you imagine if they're like, listen, we're going to pay you $50 for, like, you just sit there for, like, 8 or 10 hours, and if we need you, then great, we'll pay you at that rate. But, like, just sit there and have a cup of coffee.
Right. You literally just hang out all day.
Read Oprah.
That's what air marshals do, too. Because air marshals will sit in terminals until they get called. But anyways.
That's nice.
So they're like, yeah, we can't find the pilot. So eventually, they didn't find the pilot. They just got a new one.
Yeah.
Which is like, what happened to the first one? Anyways.
Yeah.
So we're pulling away.
He was finding suspicious packages.
We're finally pulling away from the gate.
Okay.
We hear this thing stops.
No.
And all of a sudden he goes, well, there's going to be a little delay. Because you know that thing that pushes the plane back? It's a little car that pushes the plane back. The pilot broke it.
How?
I guess, I don't know how, but from what they had said... He tried to gun it when it wasn't unclamped, and he just broke the thing that holds the plane. So the thing was literally attached to the plane, and they couldn't get it
He's not
off.
the substitute. He's clearly like the trainee.
And he's like, yeah, he goes, so I broke it, so, we're going to have to wait. So we had to wait for that. Eventually we get to Salt Lake City.
The best part is we probably could have driven quicker.
Mind you, some pilots, I like when they have tact. Going off story again, but I don't care. I was flying to Arizona, rather, and it was a pretty bumpy ride. You expect turbulence. It wasn't any... Yeah. It didn't bother me at all. I was like, oh, it's just kind of bumpy.
It wasn't like I'm about to die turbulence.
It didn't bother me until the pilot came on. It goes, if you notice, we've been having some turbulence, but I can't figure out why. I'm like, bro.
Well, that just helps
like,
my confidence.
Well, now I'm worried about it. Like, when it was just normal turbulence, I was like, I did literally no thought in my mind.
Can you imagine if he was like... So we're going to have quizzes, and everyone's going to give me a reason why they think, and we're going to see what happens.
But he goes, I can't figure out where the turbulence is coming from. And everyone was just like, wait, what?
My question is turbulence like a one-thing issue? It's like, the turbulence is, it's just windy, and we're
like
just
you can air
going the
pockets.
wrong way. Yeah.
Like
a mysterious, like what is this, a Stephen King novel?
Yeah.
Like there's a mysterious turbulence? Like
So, airport experience done.
Okay.
All right.
So finally back to the B&B.
Get to the Airbnb. Really,
you waited this whole time.
The rest of my vacation wasn't as funny, but so we
had some really good airport stories.
My first Airbnb experience. So I get to this. It's this little shack, kind of, and basically it's a dude's basement.
Yeah.
It has two entrances to the house. One to like the normal house, and one to the basement. So really never have to cross paths. And so the Airbnb was actually quite nice. Like the basement was exactly what it looked like. So I was like.
It's finished.
Yeah. I actually looked like, hell yeah, the same bed. So I was pretty happy about it. So it was a Friday night. Mm-hmm. And the weird thing was the guy was sitting at his kitchen table. So he like made awkward eye contact as he went into this dude's basement.
You're like,
Airbnb is so freaking weird. You just walk into people's houses and sleep there. Anyways.
But here's my thing. Like, I think it's cool, but like, why would you want to be home? Like... Right? Like, wouldn't it just be weird to be like, oh, hi, we're from Cleveland. We're just going to chill in your basement. Just don't murder us. Thanks so much.
I'm kind of a social guy.
I am too.
And so it gets to be about 9, 10 o'clock. I can't sleep because I had slept on a plane, whatever. I was kind of awake. And all of a sudden, I see her friends come over. A couple of friends come over. And then a couple more. He had about maybe like 10 people upstairs. And you could hear them. You could hear the cans click. It's Friday night.
Yeah.
Cans click, people drinking, everything. I turned to Kate and was like, I kind of want to go up there. I was like, I just want to join the party. Like, I wasn't pissed off because it's like, it's a Friday night, it's a dude's house. Yeah. I don't care. I should expect that. Yeah. But to me, I was more like, I was like, I kind of want to go up there.
Did you?
I got about to the top of the staircase.
And then you hear him say, fucking hate these people in my basement. And you're like, well,
no, I saw the clientele that was up there, and it was like 90-year-olds. I was like,
what? Why?
Who knows? So I was like, you know what?
You almost busted in on like an elderly orgy. Like, oh.
So I was like, you know what? I don't want to be that guy. Yeah. But I was like this close to going up there.
Can you imagine though if like you actually had a complaint and he's like, listen, dude, if you read my B&B, it said that on Fridays I have social activities with old people. Okay, so don't complain.
But I want to compare that to the next hotel. And I know that's not the biggest story of the Airbnb, but compared to the next thing. Mm-hmm. So it was weird that I had to like take out the trash. And this guy, okay, the one thing that really concerned me about this Airbnb is the really fucking weird outlets this place had. They were just like
weird outlets
sticking out of the wall and had like.
Okay, that's not weird. That's just not safe.
Yeah,
that's
and
what
the shower was like just in the corner. Like it wasn't like a tub shower. It was just like there was a curtains nailed to the wall.
Oh my god!
In the corner, and you just had to bathe in this corner of this bathroom.
It's so Sound Prime.
And so. We moved. That was Salt Lake City.
Oh my god, that was all. I thought that was the San Francisco one.
And that was the one thing where I was like, I don't know about all these crazy Salt Lakes because.
Did you get to see the Salt Lake though?
Yeah.
Was it salty?
It was very salty. But Salt Lake City, let me tell you, there's some weird people in that town.
I am not surprised.
And we walked by. We went to the biggest Mormon church.
Oh yeah, you got in trouble because didn't you yell like?
Well, there was a wedding going on. I was like, I wonder what number that is. And so I got in a little bit because I said it. I said it quite loudly, about 15 feet away from the wedding party. So I probably shouldn't have done that.
I feel like when you can just tell when you say a city if there's gonna be weirdos. Yeah. Like Salt Lake City, weirdos. Topeka, Kansas, weirdos.
Here's the weird thing about.
That just sounds weird.
Here's the weird thing about Salt Lake City. It's literally only white people.
Oh, I'm not. I can't, yeah, absolutely. I believe that.
I even mentioned like to Katie. I mean, because we're from Cleveland. Cleveland's a very diverse city.
You know what's funny? I actually forget how diverse Cleveland is. Like,
and
the
it's
populations here. There's so much diversity compared to Salt Lake City.
You literally don't notice it. It's just whatever There's people of every.
You don't know. I don't notice it. I don't think about it.
And no problem with it. But then you get to it, and it's like noticeable. It's like Katie. Yeah. There is literally only white people.
Well, and that explains, if you think about it, why. Those people probably, not those people in a bad way, but like, if you live in a 99.9% white culture, that's why, these people get so
you don't have any knowledge of anything else.
They're like, oh my god, there's a black person, like, because they don't live that.
Literally never
like, you and I, we go to work, it's just,
you see everybody.
Races, and we're open-minded, we're liberal, we're whatever, but, you could say whatever, but the truth is, that's just life. That's life for us. For them, life is white people, and it's so weird for me. I could never imagine. Can you imagine? No.
So we go to.
I don't know. I hope people are like, what was that weird sociology rant? But like, what I mean is like, I just can't. Imagine
it was noticeable to me. Yeah. I was like, this is
like, you guys are as white as this salty sea.
It's a beautiful town though.
I bet.
But anyway, so we go to Yosemite. We had a hotel in Yosemite because there's literally no Airbnb. We wanted to do all the Airbnbs, but there's none in Yosemite. None. And so we go to this hotel, and our Airbnb was, there was weird things about it, but dudes made, but it was
on the counter.
Yeah. So we get to this hotel, and I swear to God, we got there like 10 o'clock at night because it was a long drive.
Yeah.
This place looked like Camp Crystal Lake murderous cabin.
Really?
And so, but maybe that's just because I got there at night. It really wasn't. Yeah. Like, it had this weird vibe.
Like, it's like in the day, family friendly, at night murderous.
So we go to our little cabin. And Katie, it's like 2 floors, and there's an entrance in the top and entrance in the bottom. It's a real weird setup. And Katie's like, I just get this weird vibe because we get in and like random lights are on. Like you think like if the living room lights on or the bed, it's like okay they leave the light, the maid before you come in. Here's the light on, whatever. But it was like a closet light was on. And then this bathroom over here, that light was on. And then the closet door in the other room was just wide open.
It was almost like someone was thinking, there, you know what? I don't want them to walk into a dark house. Let me turn on a few lights. The closet light, the downstairs bathroom light.
And so it was weird. I was like, it's just... But I didn't want to say... I was like... I told her, I was like, you're just thinking things. It's whatever.
Yeah, because if you buy into it, then you both are like,
But so then the bedroom, it was like in the lower part. We go down there. There's nothing on the bed. No sheets, no nothing. No
It's just a mattress?
It's just a fucking mattress.
What is this, a Madonna music video?
And so we're like, what is going on? And so like, I'm pissed at this point because it's so late. I've been driving 7 hours at this point.
Well, what do? Do you just kind of...
We went to the front.
Okay.
And we're like, why is our bed not have sheets? She goes, there's no sheets on there? I'm like, no. And she goes, oh, well, let me see if we have one of our suites available.
Did she pull out a modesty scarf? I would shit my pants.
So she was super nice. Super nice. She goes, was one of our, basically she said, one of our cleaners effed up.
One of our eccentric
and she like yelled at her on the phone. It was great.
Oh my God, and then gave her a haircut.
But then anyway.
You had to listen to part 1 to get that. I'm sorry.
So she was like, well, let me see when one of your suites is open. Oh, I was like, all right.
Oh.
We get the suite that Luke Bryan had stayed in.
You're kidding.
This place had a hot tub in the bedroom. And then there was like a
Shout out.
It was it had its own boat dock.
Dude, you're kidding.
Damn.
Now I want none of my sheets to be on my bed. So
and then they gave us breakfast in the morning. And it was like $50 a plate. And they're like, here it is. Just take it.
They're like, you walked in and we didn't have a sheet for you. So just
it all worked
take all these
out.
upgrades. Well, anything else on your vacations?
There's plenty, but maybe we'll get it the next time. And then we'll do a more traditional episode next time. I'll sprinkle them in.
And we'll sprinkle them in. Excellent. Well, from your favorite degenerates, Paul and Matt.
Yeah. DJ Enerates.
I just did a weird French laugh. Baguette. Well, we'll see you next time on Thoughts of the Round Table with me, Matt, and Paul.
Have a good time.